The subway can be a very dreary place. I do have my responsibility here. I am a superhero here. You know why? Because this thing, when I go into the subway with it, it makes people smile. It's strange when people refer to me as a busker because I've been a musician all my life. Sometimes I would just play in the park, not for money, just to play for people. And what it did for people around me in the environment and what it did for them and what it did for me was amazing. Like, it was really amazing.
I'll tell you when I get there someday. As for me right now, I'm moving on.
Well, I used to work in the corporate world, and even though it was in the music industry, it wasn't really suitable for me. And I got really burnt out, and it was too hard trying to make ends meet on a really low income. If you feel disempowered and you're living in a huge city and you feel like you're not getting anywhere and everything you're doing is just not making any sense, you can go through some real trauma. I went through some depression, and my doctor, advised me to go on medications, and I said, no, I don't want to, and I kept resisting until finally I just said, this is it, I gotta do something.
Where are our wings?
There's gotta be something that I can do for somebody else, because I don't feel like asking for help, I don't feel like taking, I don't feel like, and so I went to a youth shelter up the street from me, and I took my guitar and I took my flute and I took a couple of percussion instruments, and I walked in there and I said, I'm out of work, I have a lot of time on my hands, and I have instruments, and if there's any kids who want to learn or play, I'm here. And as long as I could be there to help them, and I knew that I was doing something for them, that was actually helping me and healing me.
One more time.
I wanted to remember some of the music theory as well that I had learned when I was younger. So what I did was I created some sayings for myself to help me out of my negative thought patterns, but that were also useful to understanding the cycle of fifths. Everybody faces challenges. Giving up, we don't allow. So I used these as mantras every day to just get myself out of depression, but at the same time, get myself back into learning the music theory. But during this time, something was happening to me. I was really changing, but I never really felt like, I can go back into the mainstream of the world again. There was still that thing missing where I wanted to get that expertise, with the music. And I thought, okay, well, I need to go back to school. I made the inquiries and I was contacting them and saying, I want to find out about the program. And I sent them a message and I said, you know what? I think maybe thanks for sending me all this info, but I won't be able to get an audition done in 2 weeks, so maybe I'll come back next year. And then about a week later, I got a phone call from the head of the woodwind department. He basically said to me, you're almost as old as I am. You know you want to be in here. Get in here. How much time do you need? Now, you got to understand, a phone call like that, when you're really down and you're low and you're searching and you don't have the energy to do the paperwork, to apply for OSAP, to do all this stuff. I was floored. I went, okay. I went to the audition for the TTC, but the day that I went, I didn't know they were having the auditions because I had given up. I had given up on auditioning. I would say for about 4 years in a row, I didn't make it in. And I picked up the Metro. I don't usually pick up the Metro. I hadn't picked up the Metro in a year. Like, I had not. And I picked it up and I looked at the Metro and it said TTC buskers audition today, tomorrow, and the next day, which was at the exhibition, right? And I went, oh. And that's the only thing I read, and I went straight there. It seemed like everything I had done in the last 20 years, up until that point, it seemed to me like a failure. And boom, all of a sudden, okay, you're going back to school with the best of the best. You've got your TTC license, and now you can go in there and play legally. And so things changed for me then. Things changed for me a few years ago because I believe I have to be my own personal superhero in order to show other people how they can be their own superhero. And you know, if there's one thing that I was given as a mission after all the years of feeling like a failure, and I was given this mission of being able to make people smile and to dance and for their eyes to light up and for them to suddenly feel something different, that's good enough for me. That's my superhero power.